Today we're going to be finishing up our lessons on Word. We're entering into Word Chapter 3. This chapter focuses on inserting a shape, changing shape styles, adding clip art, but changing the color of the clip art, being able to adjust the brightness of the clip art, which we've done a little bit in PowerPoint, setting up some borders, doing a table, changing margins, which we've done in Word Chapter 2, but really it's mainly going to look like letterhead with a table within it. So we're going to be writing a letter, creating a letterhead, and then inserting a table in it. So what I'd like for you to start with is make sure you've opened up the Word 3 walkthrough text that is found in week 12 where you found this video. Make sure you open that up. Looks like this right here. And then I want you to go ahead and go up and save it. And let's save it as your last name, Word 3 walkthrough. Put your last name. All right. So instead of having you type in all this text for the letter, I've given you all the text just to make things go a little bit faster for this walkthrough. In some of your assignments, you might have to type in some of the paragraphs of information. So just be aware that when you're typing it in, make sure that you're spelling everything correctly. As long as your margins are set correctly, it's going to wrap the text fine. So just pay attention to those things when you start doing your assignments for this unit. Okay, what we're going to start with is we're going to go ahead and go up to our page layout, and let's click on our margins in our page setup group. Our margins are set at 1 inch all the way around. We're going to change those to the moderate setting, which is going to be 1 inch on the top and the bottom and 0.75 inches on the side. So go ahead and click on that. Okay, next I'd like to change our spacing. So let's go ahead and select all of our text. So the shortcut key for that is Control-A, or you can right-click and do Select All. And you can see our spacing is kind of crazy right here. Between paragraphs, we've got, if you look at your page layout tab, you can see the spacing before and after. The after spacing set at 10. That's why it looks like the name right here is double-spaced. Let's set that down to 0. And then let's go ahead and change the spacing of everything to 1.5. 1.5 line spacing. So it spaces out a little bit, but we don't have the before and after extra spaces. All right, next we're going to change our theme, and we're going to change our entire theme, not just the theme colors and the theme font. So let's go ahead and go up to our themes up here in the top left, still in the page layout. And we are going to choose the one that says Executive. Let's go ahead and click on Executive. Executive. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. We're first going to start off with putting in a shape to create a letterhead. Okay, letterheads are found at the top of letters, and they indicate the company name typically. So it has the company's logo at the top. For example, ACVS has a letterhead that has the wolf up top with our name and everything and our address. So that's what we're going to be actually manually creating for this assignment. So we're going to go ahead and go up to our Insert tab in our Illustrations group. Make sure you're on line 1. Sorry, I forgot to remind you of that. So we're going to be up here on the top. Okay, in our Illustrations group, click on Shapes and go ahead and go down to the Rectangles area. And we're going to choose that second rectangle. It's called the rounded rectangle. Go ahead and click on that. Okay, when you click on that, it doesn't automatically insert one. It gives you a different cursor. So now my cursor looks like a cross because it's going to allow me to draw. So go ahead and click where your blinking insertion point is. And we're just going to put it all the way across the top. Not too large. Okay, so now we've got a box here. Okay, we're going to change the style of of our box. So instead of having it blue, we're going to change it to a brown color. So you can see that automatically my Drawing Tools Format tab appeared. In the Shape Styles over here on the left, I'm going to click on the little drop down. We're going to go ahead and go down to the last brown one. It's called Intense Effect Brown Accent 4. So it kind of gives it like a 3D look. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to change the way our text box is inserted onto our page. Right now it's in front of all of our text, and I actually want it to be changed to just be in line with the text. So go ahead and go to Position. Again, we're on our Format, Arrange, Position, and we're just going to click on this first option, In Line with Text. Okay, so now you can see that it moved everything else down, so it kept the space right here, and that's exactly what we wanted it to do. Okay, now we're going to right-click on our shape, and we're going to click Add Text. Okay, this allows you to add text inside of the box. So go ahead and type in, actually let's do it in all caps, Heartland Tractor Club. Heartland Tractor Club. Okay, once you've typed that in, go ahead and select the text, and we're going to change the font size to 22. Okay, if you change it to 22 and it's no longer fitting in there, go ahead and make your box just a little bit bigger. Okay, you can see our text is already aligned center. If it's not, you can go to your text group up here, and you can make sure that it's in the middle. And then you can always do your Control-E to make sure it's in the center. Okay, aligning text moves it to the middle or the top of your shape. So if I had a much bigger shape like this, and I change my align text to the top, it moves up. If I change it to the bottom, it's supposed to move down to the bottom, but I think I have some extra spacing going on here. Okay, now we're going to change the font type. So go to your Home, and we are going to change it to a script. Sorry, I'm trying to find it here. We're going to change it to Papyrus. Papyrus. Okay, again, you might have to resize your box a little bit for it to fit in there. All right. Let's go ahead and make our font size a little bit smaller because we're actually going to insert a graphic in there. We need a little bit more room. So we can move it down to 20, and that should work fine. As you can see, I have my formatting marks on. If those bother you, you can always turn them off. But they do kind of help out when you're looking at alignment options and seeing what line you're on. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to insert a clip art picture. Let's go ahead and click off of your shape, and go ahead and go into Insert, Clip Art, and then in your search for it, go ahead and type in tractor. Make sure you spell it right or nothing will come up. And we're going to choose that first one, agriculture farming. We don't want to use any of these picture images that look like real photos. We're going to use the clip art image. All right, so we've got our tractor in here. Now, let's do a couple of things with this. First, let's change the size of it. So go ahead and go up to your Size dialog box, and we're going to click on the dialog box launcher, so the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, so I'm in the Size group, and we're going to change the scale of the picture to 35%, so it's pretty small. Okay, and then we're going to recolor this picture. So to recolor the picture, again, I'm on my Picture Tools and my Format option, and we're going to go to Color, and we are going to change it to the one that's brown accent color for light. So it's the one at the bottom, but it's the brown one. So we've changed it to a brown color. Okay, now we're going to change the correction of it. Right now it's in the middle one, and we're actually going to choose one that's a little bit darker. So I don't care which one you choose here. If you want to choose one in the first column or one in the second column, just choose one that's a little bit darker. Okay, we're also going to take some of this color out of this picture, and it's called changing your picture to transparent. So what I want you to do is click on the color, go down to Set Transparent Color. When you click on that, it gives you this little pin with an arrow. I want you to click on part of the picture and towards the bottom where the wheels are. And if you click on it, it should make part of your picture white, so it lightens up part of it. That's setting it to transparent. Okay, again, if you didn't like the way it did it, you can do Control-Z. You can go up and do it again. You know, if you wanted the top part to be transparent. Okay, we just have some of it transparent. Okay, if you didn't like it, you could always completely reset the picture back to normal if you didn't like any of your color options that were going on. Okay, now we're going to move the graphic into our picture here. But as you can see, if I move it right now, it messes up, well, first of all, it changes the size of my picture. It messes up my header up here, my letterhead. So I don't want to just move it up there. I want to change the wrapping of my picture first. So let's go ahead and go to Format. Okay, and then we're going to go to our wrap text option, and right now it's in line with text, and we don't want that. Let's just keep it in front of text. And then go ahead and move that inside your letterhead. Okay, so you can see that white area that we made transparent is now brown because it's behind brown. Okay, now we want to copy this, so right-click on it, copy it, and then just go ahead and paste it, and move the other one over here. Okay, we want to make sure they're pretty even. And if you wanted to rotate or flip your picture, you can go up here to the rotate option. And you can see that you can do it all different ways. We're going to flip it horizontally. So it just looks like the tractor is going a different direction. If I start flipping it vertically, it's going to make it upside down. So obviously you don't want to do it that way. So it's just facing out to the big wheel, is facing to the outside on both of them. Okay, so that's our headline with our shape. Okay, now we're going to actually put an address down below it. This would complete the letterhead of a company. Okay, you can see that my cursor is down here at the bottom. Okay, if I start typing, it's going to bring it down to the next line, which is perfectly fine. So we're going to go ahead and type in an address. Let's go ahead and type in 323 Pine Avenue, comma. Since it's all going to be on one line, we're going to put commas between the city and the state and everything. Graber, comma, Oklahoma, so OK, space, 74877. Space. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is going to put a phone number in, but before we put the phone number in, we want to separate the address from the phone number. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert a symbol. So let's go ahead and go up to our insert. So I'm after my address right now, and then I'm going to go on my insert tab all the way over to the right to symbols, and we're going to go to more symbols, and we're just going to choose a black solid dot. It should pop up right away. If you need to search for it, you can go to geometric shapes on the right-hand subset side, and you should be able to find it. Okay, so you click on it, and then we're going to insert it and close it. Okay, I accidentally inserted 2. So this is different than a bullet. This is a symbol. Okay, then we're going to type in phone, colon, parenthesis 476, in parenthesis, space 555, dash 9384. Insert the symbol again. Now it's popped up because we've used it already, so it should be easy to access it. And then web address, colon, www.hltclub.com. All right. Okay, if you hit enter after the web address, it's going to make it a link. And on a letterhead, we don't want this to look like this or have a link attached to it. So to remove the link, you right-click on your link and then just go down to remove hyperlink. That turns it back to black, and then you don't have to worry about having the hyperlink on it. Okay, let's go ahead and center this text. So Control-E. Okay, we're going to make this text just a little bit smaller. So change it to 10. I'm going to change the color to brown. So you can just do brown accent 4 at the top of your theme colors. And let's bold it as well. Okay, we're still on the line of our address, and we are going to insert a border below it. So to insert a border, we're going to go up to our paragraph group on our Home tab. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see where it has a little window pane. It looks like a window pane. Bottom border is the default that's on there, but if it's not there, you can click to the arrow and then click on bottom border. Okay, as you can see, a bottom border appears. Okay, to bring that border up, we're going to hit Control-1. Hit Control-1, which makes it single space, so it's not spaced out so much. Okay, and then go ahead and save it just so we don't lose it. Hit save again. Okay, so now we've got our letterhead up here at the top. If you wanted to change the color of your border, because you didn't like it being black, you'd have to go to your little drop down here and go to Borders and Shading. Right now you can see the bottom border is right here and the color is automatic. So if you wanted to change it to brown, you click on that. If you wanted to make it thicker, so you can see a little better, then you can change the weight or the width of your line. And then you need to click on the bottom border again for it to apply that brown color. Then you hit OK. So you could change it if you wanted to. You don't need to on this particular assignment. All right, so let's go ahead and go down to the third line, since this is technically the first line, second line, third line is right above our address. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click on my Home tab in my Styles group, click on No Spacing to bring up the text a little bit, and I'm going to do that same thing on my line 2, No Spacing, just to take out some of the extra spacing that's been going on up here at the top. It's 1.5 spacing for the whole thing, but at the top we don't really need that spacing. Okay, so I'm on line 3 technically, so 2 lines below the address from the letterhead. And we're going to type in the address, or not the address, sorry, the date. So let's go ahead and tab over. You should be able to see your ruler at the top, and we want to go to 4 inches on our ruler. If your ruler is not showing, you can find your ruler by clicking over here on the far right-hand side above your vertical scroll bar, and that will show your ruler. So go ahead and make sure it's at 4 inches and type in the date. Okay, whatever date it is that you're completing this. Okay, and then we're going to hit enter one more time. Then we've got our address here. Okay, we don't want our address to be spaced out that much, so we're going to hit no spacing on our address. Okay, and then we can see our letter down here. Okay, underneath the first paragraph, you'll notice it says the table below outlines advertisement rates per monthly issue, and there's no table. So we are going to create a table right here. So make sure you're on this blank line underneath the first paragraph. We're going to go up to Insert, Table, and we're going to go ahead and choose 5 by 1. So 5 indicates the columns, and 1 indicates the row. All right, so we'll have some typing going on here, so just stay with me. If you need to pause the video to catch up, that's perfectly fine. So in the first box, we're going to type in heights, and then to get to the next cell, you hit your Tab key. You could use your mouse and actually click on it, but Tab is a little bit faster when you start typing things in. Type in dimensions, word count, these are our headings, photo count, and cost. Okay, now to get a new row inserted, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can go up to your layout, and you can do insert below, and you can see that these indicate rows, and the far right ones indicate columns, because you can see that columns go up and down, rows go across. Or you can just hit Tab, and it goes to the new row. So if you just keep hitting Tab, then you should be able to stay with me. Full page, Tab. The dimensions are 9 inches by 7 inches. Okay, put an X to indicate by. $800 words, 4 photos, and the cost is $650. Tab, half page is 4.5 inches by 7 inches, 400 words, 2 pictures, and the cost is $350. Quarter page is 4.5 by 3.5, 200 words, 1 picture, cost $225. And then business card is 2.25 inches by 3.5 inches, 100 word count, no photos, and $125. Okay, we're going to hit Tab one more time and type in total. Okay, so we have in our headings here, we have our headings on our rows as well on the left-hand side here. Now underneath our cost heading, we're going to put the total. Now instead of adding this up, you could actually put in a formula like you would in Excel. So we're not going to put anything in these 3 cells. We're going all the way down to the cost cell. And then on your table tools, click on your layout tab and go all the way to the right where it says formula. Okay, if you click on the formula, it gives you a formula right here, very similar to Excel. It has the equal sign, sum, but instead of giving you cell numbers like A1 to B3, it just says above, which is what we want. So the sum of above, and then you hit OK, and it gives you your total. Okay, I can tell if you actually did a formula. By clicking on this cell, you can see it turns gray. So if I was to go up here and change the amount, I can go back down here and I can update the field instead of having to add it up again. Okay? You don't need to do that. Bring it back. Okay, so now we've got a table in here. We're going to do some formatting with it. Go ahead and select the table. To select the table, we're going to click the cross that's in the top left-hand corner. That selects all of the table, not just the inside of the table. And we are going to go to our Design tab and go to our Table Styles. And we're going to scroll down towards the bottom in the brown column here. We're going to choose medium grid 3 accent 4. So it's one that has brown up in the top and on the side, a darker brown. Okay, so we've changed the color here. We're going to change the column widths. So let's go ahead and select our table again, go to our layout, and we're going to choose auto fit. And then hit auto fit contents. Okay, so that moves your columns to fit just whatever's written in it, so whatever takes up the most room. And then we want to center this across the page. So we still want to make sure it's selected by this little cross up here, and then you can hit Control E and it will center it. If you select it like this by dragging over it and hit Control E, it changes all the inside text and doesn't center it across the page. So that's why it's important to make sure that you're grabbing the entire table by hitting that cross in the left corner. Okay, let's go ahead and select our word count and our photo count, and let's center those, so Control E. Okay, go ahead and click in row 1. It doesn't matter which cell you're in, just click in row 1. We're going to insert a row above, so on my Table Tools layout, I'm going to insert above. Okay, so it's put in a new row, and it changed that to dark brown, because that is now the new first row. I want to put a title up here at the top, so I want to get rid of all these individual cells. So I'm going to select the entire row, and I'm going to go up to my merge cells. Okay, we did the same thing when we did Excel, merge cells. Okay, we're going to go ahead and type in the title of this table. Okay, so type in monthly, issue, advertisements, rates. Okay, we're going to change the height of this row. So I'm still on row number 1. On my layout tools, I'm going to go up to height, and I'm going to change this to 0.4. And then to center it, I want to center it and have it middle aligned. So if you notice your alignment over here in your table tools, there are 9 different options here. We want to choose the middle one. Okay, the middle one is called Align Center. So if you're reading directions and it says Align Center, this is the one you want to choose on a table. If it just says to center the text, then most likely it's going to be this one that says Align Top Center. But if I write the directions out, it's going to be very specific. Align Center means to use your table alignment. Okay, you can only use these options when you have a table inserted, so it won't be confusing on a normal paper or anything for you. Okay, so now that's centered in there. Okay, another thing is if directions ask you to change the look of this color, the way you do that is you go over to your Design tab and it's your Table Style Options. So if you didn't like the way that it was shaded, you could change it. So you could take these check marks off, and you'll notice that it changes the color of what's going on inside. So if it tells you to go to your Table Style Options and make sure that header row, first column, banded rows, and last column have check marks, this is where you would do it. Okay, so you might see that in some of your assignments. Okay, so we've got our table in there. Looks good. Let's go ahead and go down to our next paragraph here. We can actually bring the text up, but we don't need this extra space. So let's go ahead and hit delete. Now it's right underneath our table. And then you'll notice that we have discount rates right here that are underneath, you know, the phrase that says we offer the following discounts. This is actually supposed to be on bullets. Okay, so go ahead and select those 3 lines. I guess it's 4 lines, but it's only going to be 3 bullets. And go up to your paragraph, insert bullets. And we'll just do the standard bullets. Okay, and then we're going to hit enter twice. Okay, we're going to type in sincerely. Enter again, and then type in your name. Okay, so it jumps onto the next page. So I actually want to make my table a little bit smaller. So let's go ahead and select our table. And let's change the font to 10. And then we should be able to select these rows here underneath our heading and make the height just a little bit smaller. If that brought anything up. Actually, let's change our spacing. It looks like the spacing's messed up. So if we right-click, it's going to let us go to spacing there. Let's go to our home paragraph and change our line spacing within the table to single. There you go. Or you can do Control-1. Either one will work. Okay, so that should have brought your name up. Go ahead and add an extra space in there. And we're going to move this over to the 4-inch mark. So again, we're going to hit Tab until it gets over to 4 inches. Okay, so this one, if I zoom out, see the entire letter, you should see that the date and the sincerely down here lines up together. Okay, and that's the end of this project. You will have assignments that will deal with strictly tables. You'll have letters that you have to put a table within it, and you'll have an assignment where you're actually having to edit a letter that's already created. So just make sure that you are finishing up the assignment that's in week 12. And we've only got 6 weeks left of school. So good luck.